Back now on America's Forum, let's continue the conversation with Newsmax Deputy Health Editor Nick Tate. Nick, we're going to step beyond Obamacare and Medicare and Washington to talk about really the health scare that is Ebola. A U.S. healthcare worker exposed to Ebola in Sierra Leone, now back on American soil in a Nebraska hospital. That has been a previous stop for other Americans exposed to Ebola, correct?
That's right. 3 others have been treated there, 2 successfully. Unfortunately, 1 died. But this is another case that indicates that we are not out of the woods yet when it comes to Ebola. This was a healthcare worker who was in Sierra Leone, was exposed to Ebola. We don't know how. He is not now contagious. He's not now having symptoms, but they're going to watch him for 21 days, and he's in one of the best facilities in the world for them to do that. They know what they're doing over there.
Now, 8,000 people.
That's right.
Have died. That's what the
World Health
Organization estimates that nearly 8,000 people have died
That's
from
right.
this.
8,000 people dead, 20,000 people infected, and there is yet no end in sight to the outbreak. So we are not out of the woods yet.
No, we're not.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that story. We also want to talk about a new study that says the cause of most cancers is, quote, bad luck from random gene mutations rather than lifestyle. What do you make of this study?
Well, this is a glass half full, glass half empty story. Genetics are clearly a factor in cancer. What the research shows is that in as many as 2 out of 3 cases, stem cells, when they divide and multiply, random mutations are introduced, and so that leads to rapid development, growth in cells, and cancer. They don't appear to be related to things like smoking and lifestyle. But the truth is that genetics are not simply destiny. Genetics are merely one factor contributing to cancer, and there are things you can do in your lifestyle to compensate. If you're eating a healthy diet, if you're getting exercise, you're not smoking, you're getting enough sleep, you're de-stressing, you're doing everything you can to modify and counteract the genetic factors that lead to cancer. There's a phrase in cancer research that I've heard that genetics load the gun and lifestyle pulls the trigger. So just because you have a genetic predisposition to cancer does not mean you'll necessarily get it, but a diagnosis that you may have that genetic predisposition should prompt people to do everything that they can to compensate with lifestyle.
This is really interesting that this is coming out, especially since, you know, stars like Angelina Jolie was tested. And explain how that test worked, because it almost seems like it contradicts what we're hearing now.
Well, actually what they found is that was a different kind of genetic mutation that is tied to breast cancer. And so in her case, her decision was, I think she lost her mother, I think she lost an aunt also to breast
cancer.
or ovarian cancer. She elected to have a double mastectomy, which is a fairly radical decision to make to remove the risk of all cancer. But there are other things you can do. If you know you have a genetic predisposition, there are other things that you can do. Increased monitoring, paying more attention, doing what you can in lifestyle. But this is really the one of the leading edges in clinical medicine, and that is using genetics to tell people how they should live, what they should do to modify their risk of dying from cancer. Simply having cancer does not mean that you will die. Keeping it in check from spreading to other parts of the body is the way you can survive and live.
Nick, we couldn't spend time with you without turning to the flu. You were here last week.
Yes.
And now it's official, right? Epidemic status.
Right. That's right.
So what should we keep in mind now that it officially is an epidemic?
Well, we know this is happening because the flu vaccine this year is not a good match for the primary strain of flu that's circulating. There was a genetic mutation in that virus that leaves you vulnerable even if you've had the flu shot. So, again, the message is you must do everything you can to move toward prevention. Prevention is better than treatment. So, again,
washing your hands.
Wash your hands fastidiously, making sure that if you do not avoid being around people who appear to be sick. If you yourself are feeling under the weather, for goodness sake, don't go to work. Stay away from your family and friends. Don't infect everybody else with what you've got. And there are some things you can do too. You can take supplements, echinacea, zinc, ginseng. These all boost the immune system, as does eating a healthy diet, getting regular exercise. Don't let yourself get run down. Do everything you can to prevent the flu.
All right.
Common sense.
Advice.
We appreciate that. And again, this reminder, be sure to take the National Medicare Survey. Tell Congress what you think of the recent changes to Medicare. And you see right there on the screen where you do it at Newsmax.com. When we come back, the saga of 19 kids and 2 parents. Reality TV in the making. Stay with us.